We'll post all top 8 deck lists on our X account as well as on the Discord. I believe Discord goes first, but these guys are already off to the races. Let's go ahead and join them. It is semifinals time. Volibear versus Darius. That's what we have in store for us.
Yes, sir. And right off the bat, we see Volley with his perfect turn one opener getting to go first, not knowing if he chose to go first or sent first, because there is some interesting byplay there with the Darius deck specifically, as Darius, when it goes second, can play the two units on the first turn using the Darius legend ability, where the Volley, I mean, there's really only mobilize for your turn one play. So there might be a option where you do send the Volley first and say, I'm getting my units out faster. So don't know who did win the die roll, but Volley did hit the best turn one for him, which was the mobilize. So can't complain there.
Yeah, I can't really complain. And I like the Iron Ballista even more, thinking about aggressive strategies, because it's a nice little 2 damage each and every turn, able to take care of recruit tokens, even on a Triferian War Camp. So let's see how this works out. Bear in mind, it's just 1 unit every time. And this Darius, as we saw earlier in the rounds, it had a plethora of units, something like 7, 8, 9, 10 total units at one point. Can Volibear overcome that kind of board pressure? Are his tall, big, mighty units enough to get the job done? That's what we're going to be finding out in this game best of 3 series. Going to be playing out the manufacturer, developing the board a little bit more. Darius is online with the Darius Legion ability if he wants to play like a 2-drop Poro or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ballista should be pretty value in this matchup. I will say that Darius does have a similar ability to Victor to just be able to flood the board with tokens. So this is probably one of the worst things for the volley list that we've seen, that does play all these burn spells, all these disintegrates, the Void Seekers, all this stuff, because you'd rather your opponent play more tall units, right? Because then you can trade 1 for 1 with your removal spells. But unfortunately, you're not really able to do that with all these token generators, because I mean, you're not getting 1 unit out of a token generator. You're getting the Legion Marauder plus like multiple plus a token, or
yeah, so many. Yeah. And to your point, Volibear isn't doing too much of board presence nice and early, so this is exactly what Darius is looking for in the early game, just trying to conquer and contest, earn points after points. I believe I haven't been keeping track. Apologies for that, guys. Darius is at 2 points already. Make that 3 points with the conquer right now on the war camp. He might as well just send one of his recruit tokens just to conquer the aspirant climb as well, because even from this position, the best Volibear can do right now on this follow-up turn will be another Dazzling Aurora, but the infamous Baitic Hook hits the board, and now it's going to be a 3 might unit getting sacrificed. So you're going to be looking at the top 5 cards, searching for a 4 or more, or I believe just 1 more might than the 3, right? So a 4 might unit or less from the top 5.
Yeah, and what's kind of interesting in this matchup is there might be a world where you opt to not even choose the Draven, as you do know that the Volley plays a lot of removal, and if you've taken a little bit of a glance at the previous match, that which the competitors do have some time between rounds, they could see that there is a lot of that high cost or high power, high might removal. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, you were just talking about how much board presence can Darius deploy and at any instance, and we're seeing the Matron follow that up into the Captain Vanguard, the best 1-2 combo punch from this Darius. How much board presence is right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, no, I'm counting the above. 2, 4, 6, 8 total units right now. That's impressive so far.
Yeah, this is kind of worst case for Volibear, is you really don't want Darius to hit the really fast wide board. I think Volley's okay, as we saw with the Kaisa match, with the taller boards, because not only do your units trade pretty well into them because your units are just taller, but also your removal is just 1 for 1s, which is perfect for you, because you say, hey, you're not getting a point this turn, I'm trading 1 for you. But when they're shoving up 1 token at a time, like, you can't exactly do that.
Yeah, and that's a perfect way of sequencing things
Mhm.
for the Darius player. Don't want to overcommit. You don't want to flood the board. You don't really need to. So going up to 5, just each and every turn conquering. So 2-2. Can you get 2 conquers this turn? It looks like there's no runes available for the Volibear player. So might as well just send another little recruit token going up to 6. So that's how you play against Volley if you're able to do so. You want to try to conquer each and every turn, but the baited hook hitting the best target you can, the Draven, going up to 8 might since you're already at 5 points. And does he want to do, it almost looks like he has another hook because the way he was hovering the manufacturer, I believe he's trying to hit another matron NA. If he sends in the manufacturer into the war camp, which he's looking like he's hovering it now, yeah, he goes up to 6, of course, but now the baited hook. Does he hit a matron off the top? This is a godly Hyro. Or maybe not Hyro, but it feels that way.
I mean, when you've resolved hook 3 times, you've seen quite a bit of your deck, right? 15 cards, so it's not super unlikely. That being said, did he choose something? Oh, there we go. Okay, I mean, not the best target, but you can't hate it. That being said, I think personally in this matchup, I would prefer even to see some of these token generators, like you said, like the matron or even like a captain, just because it's so hard for Volley to deal with all these little units, and these little units get absolutely huge on the war camp, right? So rather than these tall units like the Draven that the Volley can trade 1-for-1 with the removal spells, or even like the Volibear, the Furious Volibear, like you cannot trade 1-for-1 with tokens. It just does not work.
Yeah, it definitely does not favor you. And Volibear feeling like he's in a nightmare of a situation, so much to deal with in so little time. You're already sitting across an opponent with 6 total points. I mean, Dazzling Aurora has to do some God's work at this point. One thing that he does have to keep in mind, you do have to get to 9 total points because of Aspirant Climb. So there could be some kind of window of opportunity to try to get back in this game. But we're talking about a point disparity of 6 points to 0 current points for this Volibear player. That might be a little bit too ambitious to ask for, especially considering the fact that there's a Noxus, Hopeful, a Draven, Matron, the Glory Seeker, and 5 total recruit tokens that each get the +1 as you mentioned on the war camp. I mean, Falling Star is great, but there's just so much board presence as we keep alliterating over and over again. So we'll see. We'll see how this ends up falling through for Volibear and Darius. But so far, it looks like Darius looking really strong in this game 1.
Yeah, and I really like how Gonkra has been playing this, where he's been pretty good about leaving the battlefields empty, so you can't like drop a dead bloom and get immediate value out of it. So pretty much anything hit off the Aurora is going to either be played to the battlefield, as we saw right here, or to the base. You're not actually trading it for any units immediately. So in this case, unfortunate hit. You hit probably the worst card in the deck, or the worst Aurora hit in the deck. And
Yeah.
the Ballista also unable to be used because there are no units at the battlefield.
Yeah, you're totally right. I think Darius is playing this very expertly so far. And now having his first real challenge, I will say. A battlefield holding a total of 14 total might he has to overcome. One thing though, Volibear completely tapped out. We saw in the previous game in round 5, he had so many counterplay options like those Get Excited, like those Disintegrates. There's none of those right now. So going up to 7 total points right now for the Darius. Keep in mind, he can't win this very turn. If he is able to get over the 14 total might on the climb, is not going to be enough. So he has to be cognizant and think about, does he want to go ahead and try to pressure now, or is this the 2-point difference I want? Just keep everything in the back line, set something up. I mean, you have 1 card, so oh, the Volibear just scooping things up. He saw enough. He said, no more. You terrorized me enough in this game 1.
Yeah, that was kind of a checkmate scenario. Maybe not quite. There might be a world, but oh, okay, yeah, we just had a stratagem. Yeah, okay,
He
it
had
was
the
checkmate
stratagem.
scenario. Yeah, good
Okay.
review. Yeah, Warrens is going to be pretty nice in Darius as well, to just try and find all the stuff that you want. And if you do continue playing like he has, which has been really nice to see, is by killing your units off the battlefields with the hook, you guarantee that you're getting the conquer there every turn, and you don't actually get the hold. So you do get to keep seeing more and more cards.
Yeah, we'll see. And that's what Darius was lacking in. We saw previously he was keeping up that card advantage with things like Hidden Blade on his own cards, drawing two. We could see something come into play as well. We could see that come into play as well this game too. But I have a funny feeling Volibear did not like what he saw in game one. He's going to try his hardest to not allow that to happen. As you said, can he Hyro a little bit? A turn one mobilize would be the most optimal play, but in this situation, he did not draw it. Passes it over to Darius. Let's see if he has a bit of an ideal curve. Something like a seal? And a.
That is what you want to see. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Oh no, where have I seen this before?
Right, a little deja vu. Quite the fortunate series of events so far for this Darius. Pretty cookie cutter ideal situation. And Volibear, if he doesn't have a Catalyst of Aeons, which it looks like he doesn't, Darius is going to have a lot of space to work with. You're able to conquer both battlefields as early as this turn 2. And Ballista can get rid of one, but very unrealistically, you're going to be able to get the other one out of the battlefield. So you might actually even get a hold point for your troubles as well.
Yeah, I will say the battlefields this time for Volley is actually probably going to be a little bit more annoying for the Darius with the Sigil.
Woo!
It does force... oh my gosh. And he's dropping it so quick, right?
You said
There's
it.
another one in the wings.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, what as I was saying, the Sigil of the Storm may be a little bit more annoying than the Aspirant's Climb for the Darius, as you might have to recycle runes. That being said, the seal is in play, so you do have kind of infinite rune recycle, but you still do want to play your hook, want to play your legions, want to play your matrons. So, and there comes the hook. Wow, this is like perfect.
Yeah.
It's just what you want to see.
Super ideal start for Darius. Exactly what he wants to see. But the only downside, or if it even is a downside, you're just not going to have that same amount of pressure with things like sacrificing units on the war camp. So that's something that doesn't hinder or won't completely punish the Volibear, if you will, but he does get to conquer two. And this Sigil is going to be punishing the Darius though, because he's going to be running a little slightly low on runes because he wants to keep pushing, he wants to keep conquering, but every time he conquers a Sigil, he's going to have to recycle and set him back about half a turn or so.
Yeah, I can see why the salvage was dropped so early, as it does get a lot of value here where with the Sigil, right? Because you don't want to keep conquering the Sigil over and over. So you're kind of forced to push up one of your bigger units like the Vanguard Captain. But at the same time, the Vanguard Captain up in the battlefield is a lot more vulnerable to these disintegrates and these other removal spells that we've seen. So the getting rid of the Ballista means that you maybe aren't forced to continue conquering that Sigil over and over. But Voidseeker comes down and says, no, you gotta recycle again.
And just like we were expecting, at least one of these battlefields will be held. So Darius goes up to 3, able to push the pace and potentially go to 4 if you do want to conquer the Sigil, which I would probably recommend. But something is feeling a little bit funny. Perhaps this Volibear is telegraphing us something like a Voidseeker / Disintegrate maybe come in the way of that Captain Vanguard if he wants to choose to conquer a Sigil. And I believe it reads when you conquer, so if he's able to get a spell off, at the very worst, Darius isn't going to be forced to recycle a rune, of course. And looks like my screen froze for half a second. Hopefully it resets. There it goes. Okay, he does decide to push into it. Is there a spell?
Okay, you were right. Another Seeker. Not really what you want to do. It feels kind of bad recycling runes when you're this far behind, but I mean, anything you can do to keep him off good baited hook hits and keep him off more points.
I mean, this is definitely not as explosive as we saw in game one. Right now, Darius just chilling with just one single unit in base. Of course, things can change rather quickly. If there's something like a matron this turn, you're able to do 2 recycles, one for the seal, one with the order rune you have right now, and you bring back your Captain Vanguard, getting so many getting so many units onto your base in a single turn. But going for the baited hook onto a one mighted unit. So looking for just 2. The possible best targets would be like a manufacturer. That might be ideal. You could hit a glory seeker. Of course, Vayne is nice, but there's no enemy units, so does end up hitting the glory seeker.
Yeah, there are a few hits there. Some Darius builds do play the Daring Poro, some play the Pouty Poro. You get to play all the Poros in the world, but unfortunately you cannot play, do you know what his name is? Is it the Poro Shepherd or something?
Which one? What color is he?
I want to say he's green or blue, but it is a 3/3.
Oh,
and if you control a Poro, you get a draw, I think.
oh yeah, the shepherd, the Poro shepherd. I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. I thought you meant Poro, because I was gonna say the blue Poro is coming out in set 2. If you guys haven't seen it, I believe it's called Plundering Poro. When you conquer, you get a gold, which is a new token coming out in set 2. I'm so excited for set 2. A little bit of a side note.
Yep, looks like it will be fun. The stuff that has been revealed is very cool and looking like it'll shake things up. We do see Volley show a Catalyst, choosing not to play it, and instead going for a mobilized pass. So that tells me there's probably some more removal in the hand. Really going to try and stop conquering on the Zon Warrens. Can he do it though? Yep, there's the Disintegrate. Okay, kind of expected.
And why did it look like, oh, Disintegrate? For some reason, I thought it was like a Void Seeker where you pay 3, but it is indeed a 4-cost spell. So paying 4 doesn't feel the best because now you're completely tapped out. Is there something, I haven't noticed if Darius is running the accelerated Kaiser Survivor. Have you seen that card yet? I can't remember.
We haven't seen it yet. I would not be surprised if there's at least a couple of them in here. One of the things that Darius lacks is really much sort of draw, and Kaisa does provide that, as well as being an accelerated unit you can hit off of hook. So just more options to push really aggressively. I think Kaisa is just generally one of the more powerful red units available, so it's not really surprising. I think most Fury decks that are playing in that 4-cost range are playing the Kaisa.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think he should be playing it. We probably have seen it. I've just seen one too many Riftbound games today. Does end up hitting the Draven off the top, going for a respectable 8 might already since he's at 5. But more importantly, I was just about to say, if he plays another card, the Darius readies and he's able to target Zone Warrens, but doesn't choose to do so. And now if there's a will for this Volibear player to get back in this game, it will be with this Dazzling Aurora. And the dragon, not the best hit. You are going to draw 1 since the mighty counts himself, but you're still going to let Darius conquer 2 total battlefields this next turn, so it doesn't feel that great.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not really the worst thing. I guess the worst hit would have been a Buccaneer. In fact, if I hit a Buccaneer, I might keep it on the spot. But, I mean, can't be too unhappy with 9 might. It gets a little tough here because you do need to clear both battlefields, and there's going to be a big fat Draven on one of them, and probably backed up with a lot of tokens and stuff, seeing as the Darius has a lot of runes ready. And if the Darius does pass, you can maybe read that there's like a stratagem in hand. But, I mean, it's not over. Definitely not over.
Yeah, not over. He could push the dragon into Darius, and then I think I like this from Darius. He's going to be fortifying the Draven play just to make sure something like a Deadbloom Predator from the DA, and this is disastrous for the Volibear player. Sacrificing a little recruit token for that massive Night Might unit. I think you could almost call it NA. Is that a little bit of a GG?
Yeah, I don't really think there are any plays left. Even if you have a Deadbloom in hand, like the Dead Bloom clears the Darius, and then the Dead Bloom off of the Aurora does not clear the Sigil. And
Exactly.
you are going to be up to 10, so you have like 2 runes to work with. So, okay, there is a world. There is a world. So what you can do is if you play, I don't know if he plays it, but Fury does have Falling Star. I don't know if we've seen one or not.
We've seen it.
So you could, okay, so you could see like a Falling Star, and you could potentially try and clear off the Draven and the Darius with like double Dead Bloom. It's hard, but there might be a world where it's like doable.
I think so. Another possibility could be something like those Get Exciteds, right? A Get Excited, but maybe not in this world, huh? In Draven's world. Coming out with a crazy strong 20 total might on the Sigil of the Storm. Make that 24 might. Volibear, you're going to need something like... Honestly, I can't think of a possible out to get rid of a single 10 might unit out in one card, especially considering the fact that you only have 10 runes to work with. How are you possibly getting rid of the Sigil units on top of that Darius just standing by himself there, but a threat nonetheless, because if you take care of one battlefield, you most likely didn't take care of the other. So man, Gonkra playing fantastically in our semifinals and quite speedy, I will add. We still have about 30 minutes. We might be able to catch the other semifinal game if this ends up coming to a conclusion rather soon.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate that the Draven was hit there off of the Sigil. That's kind of worst case scenario. I guess what can you do? But opting to play the Buccaneer for 4, you do have to discard for this. What is the plan here? I don't see an answer, but I could be missing something.
Maybe Stormbringer, choose a friendly unit in your base. So choosing the Buccaneer, you do damage. So you do 5 total damage to the Hopeful, but 5 versus 20. The math is quite clear. You're not going to be able to get that done. How did he... Oh, it does 5 to everything. So you're able to bring it down to a single Draven. And the Darius with the Dead Bloom Predator, like we speculated, you get rid of one battlefield, but you just won't be able to touch the other one. And just like that, perhaps this might have been the worst case scenario for the Volibear player, but our undefeated Volley player just got defeated for the first time in our semifinals.